On this dark and stormy night, I wanted to talk about why I feel my last release failed and why I'm scared to start again. I haven't released a book in 10 months, which is almost a year, which is huge for me. Sally Comes Home released August 3rd, 2022, to a resounding chorus of silence. Let's talk about that. My name is Kelly Martin. I'm an award winning, best selling author of YA horror, middle grade horror, romance, and everything in between. I've been a published author since 2012 when my first book, Crossing the Deep, was released. I thought things would be different 11 years later. Oh boy, was I wrong. I want to talk about my last book, Sally Comes Home, and why I feel like it failed on release almost a year ago. How that failure or perceived failure caused me a year of publishing, anxiety, and all the things that come with that. So let's talk about Sally Comes Home and look at what went wrong in my eyes. Now, Sally Comes Home is currently on Amazon. It has 3 reviews. Three. It is 1,100,000 in the Amazon store. It was either my 43rd or 44th book release, and most definitely my worst release ever. It came a few months after The House That Fear Built, which has 24 reviews right now, 600,000 on Amazon, and released October 15th, 2021. Now, this isn't how I used to publish books. One year, I released 8 books in one year. I used to make 4 figures, almost 5 a month on book releases. So, what went wrong? Sally Comes Home happened. Let me tell you about it and why I feel like I allowed it to kill or at least maim my writing career. Let me tell you a little bit about Sally Comes Home. So, on September 27th, 1986, Grace moved into her newly renovated house with her parents and little sister. The home was her mom's dream house until the nightmares started. 40 years before, the town of Bakersfield covered up the murder of Sally Bell and her daughter Juno. Thought to be a witch, the town leaders burned her house down with Sally and Juno inside. The house was eventually renovated and the Bell land turned into a new subdivision. The people in town knew, though, that Sally Bell never left. Once Grace and her family moved in, things started happening. The boy 2 houses down, sorry, I messed that up. The boy 2 houses down, Logan, says it was because Sally Bell won't let the house rest. She wants revenge, and she will start with Grace's little sister. What happens when the town tries to cover up their sins, and how will Grace and her family survive when they stop behaving like themselves? So, just by reading that, I think I have figured out one issue, and that issue is the blurb does not make sense. I mean, it does, but it's really hard to read. Like the boy 2 houses down, Logan, says it's because Sally Bell won't let the house rest. So I think I'm going to go back and change that. Anyway, I have figured something out with this video, but let's keep going and talk about reasons why I feel like this book failed and what it did to me because it failed. Now, reason number one, I do believe this book failed was because of lack of marketing on my part. I had a new job. This book came out August 3rd. I got a new job August 1st. I put in my resignation at my old teaching job that I'd been in for 20 years on August 2nd. And my last day of teaching was August 30th. So there was a lot in there. I should not have published a book during that time, but I did. It happened. And it was not the greatest book release ever. I wasn't focused. I was I was sad about leaving my old job. I was excited about leaving my old job. I was scared about the new job because I've not had a new job in 20 years. So the book release did not have my utmost attention. Reason number two was lack of focus. I tried to ride the Stranger Things vibe. Now, if you look at the cover, Sally Comes Home was set in 1986. Originally, it wasn't. It was, and we'll talk about that in a little later. It was not set in 1986, but the story I felt could happen in 1986, and I was very much into Stranger Things at the time, especially, with some certain characters that I love with my whole heart, and I kind of wanted to ride that train a little bit. Did not work on my part. Um, and the second reason was the lack of focus, was just for the book, not for my lack of focus, but in the book had such a lack of focus. Was this is a spoiler? There's not a paranormal element in this book, even though from the outside and the characters think there is. So that is a bit of an issue. Reason number 3 is fear. I was afraid because the book that came before it, The House That Fear Built, didn't get the love I wanted it to have. And I was scared. Um, Next, I was afraid I'd lost my audience. I was afraid I had lost everything that I had spent 10 years building up. I'd had some great releases. The Heartless series did great. The Dark and Deadly Things series did amazing. And I felt like that I had let people down because I couldn't keep that momentum going. And then I was afraid I wasn't good at writing anymore. I had all of these successful books, and I was so afraid that I wasn't good at writing anymore. So that was a big reason why I had a really hard time with that release. Reason number 4 were my kids are teens now. It's a bit strange to write teen romance when your kids are the same age as your characters, which I won't say much more about that, except that it did sort of lead to the writer identity crisis that I was in for a while. Number 5 was my loss of why. My why has always been because I wanted to be a full time writer. From 2011, the first time I wrote my first word on my first book, my goal was to be a full time writer because I wanted to stay home with my girls. Come 2022, my oldest was a senior in high school and I was changing jobs, so my why was gone. And I felt like I would never reach that one goal I always wanted to reach. Now, a few of the less monumental reasons were my marketing stunk. The timing was off. I feel like if it came out in July from all the Stranger Things hype or in October for the Halloween hype, I think it would have done better. I stopped marketing and I just stopped. I mean, did you know there was a book called Sally Comes Home out in the world? Did you? Because most people didn't. I didn't market it enough. The next reason was the title. Oh my gosh, the title. The reason it's spelled Sally, Sallie, comes home is because of the Sally house, which, if you know haunted houses, if you've seen any of the ghost hunting shows, a lot of them have visited the Sally house. So that's why I spelled it Sallie, which upon reflection was not the best thing. It's also a take on Annabelle Comes Home. However, it's not the easiest title to remember. Let me tell you a secret that I'm afraid of, that I'm not afraid of. I shouldn't tell you this, but I'm going to. A little behind the scenes nugget here. Getting ready for this video, I couldn't remember if I'd named it Sally Comes Home or Sally Came Home, which probably tells you all you need to know about this. I allowed the horrible release of Sally to keep me from releasing another book. I was going to release a book in December, but I didn't. I kept pushing things back. I have 2 complete books written now, one almost finished. Part of me wants to pull this book and pretend it never happened, but I don't. I actually love this book. From the storytelling point of view, it's one of my favorites. It's a very American horror story vibe to me. I love it. It's the story I wanted to write, which I guess is both good and bad given the sales reception. So, where does that leave me? For a year, I've felt my writer identity going with my home identity up in the air. My why is gone. My kids are almost grown. My audience is dwindling, even when it comes to the age group I want to write. I'm so confused and all over the place. I'm writing a 40-year-old vampire hunter book right now that hopes to get me back on track. Other than that, I don't even know. I look at other authors who seem to know what they're doing with marketing and promotion, and I'm just here like ghost hunting and all confused about what I should write or can write, or even if I should hang it up. Seeing as how I'm not going to hang it up, let's learn from the mistakes of Sally Comes Home. All right. Number one, know your book. Really know your book and your audience. Number two, spell the title in a way that can be found in searches. Number three, edit, and edit some more. And when you've changed your time period in the story, re edit it about 7 more times to make sure you've taken out all the references to the earlier time period. Number four, don't fall into the writer depression like I have. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to call it for the last year. I've been in a writer rut, a writer depression, a writer identity crisis. Yeah, the release didn't go the way I wanted. Okay, so what? I love the book, and sometimes that's all that matters. Number five, make a clear goal going forward for what I want my books to be. I need to make a 1, 5, 10-year plan and stick to it. Number six, get back into the writer community. I miss it so much. I used to have such big conversations with writers about writing stuff in our books, and I don't have that anymore, and I miss it so much. I need to pick a genre. Sally Comes Home is all over the place, which works for some things, but not in this case. I was not sure how to market this book. It's paranormal on the outside, but it's not on the inside, meaning that from the onset of the story, it feels like it's a ghost story. You think it's a haunted house story, and at the end, you're like, oh. So that makes it difficult to not only market, but then when you get to the reviews, some people are like, really? Really? And remember, for every sixth sense, there is the happening, which is my way of trying to remind myself for every awesome M. Night Shyamalan movie, like The Sixth Sense, there is a not so great M. Night Shyamalan movie, like The Happening. Unless The Happening is your favorite, in which case I'm sorry. And if it's M. Night Shyamalan's favorite, I'm terribly sorry. The point is, some movies, some books do really, really well, and some movies and some books don't. And we just have to live with it. Have you ever had a book release not go the way you wanted? Are you afraid to release a book because you're afraid it won't go the way you want? Leave a comment and let's talk about it, because I've got some thoughts. Another author goal I've had for years is to hit 1,000 YouTube subscribers. You can help keep that particular goal alive by hitting the subscribe button and ring the bell, or as I saw on another channel, the bell of death, which makes me sad that I didn't think about that before. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry for the little mini rant, but learning things. Things were said, things were done. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked the new format. I'm not sure what I think about it. I know I have to do it this way because I don't have a good camera. So there we go. That the secret's out for that. I will talk to you in the next video. I will see you in the comments, and we'll see what sort of genre and just author new identity I come up with, and I will take you definitely on the ride with me. Have a good day, guys.